Fuck it, we're going. Hello, welcome to a new channel? Question mark. That
I
may
believe
or
so.
may not be created in the time. Hi, my name is Coleman.
Name's Draven.
This is Draven.
Yes, sir.
If this is your first time ever meeting us,
We're cringe.
yeah, this is not a new podcast per se, and I don't expect you to have found this if you haven't seen the other ones. But if you haven't,
Welcome to the Cringe Fest.
welcome.
We are here to bless you with absolute horrible takes.
Welcome to
Sometimes mukbangs.
Yeah, we've done a Taco Bell impromptu mukbang, which went terribly wrong.
The occasional rants before we actually get to the movie because he presses record mid-conversation when I'm not paying attention.
I've done that. Yes, welcome. So new channel. If you haven't seen this, I'm probably going to share this on my channel so people see it. This is probably some Popcorner affiliated channel. We're recording it a little early.
Is this going to be the last one on the Falling Hurts channel?
No,
we're
no.
gonna
This
keep
this
posting this on.
ideally this will be the first on the new channel.
Oh, okay, so we're just gonna migrate. We're not.
Yeah.
We're not uploading old stuff on there.
We will. It'll just be like a backlog kind of thing.
Gotcha.
You know, just whatever.
Cool.
The archives.
The
if you will,
archives.
you know.
From where we first started with no camera to here we
Yeah.
are.
We'll have to do like a, if we ever get anywhere with this channel, we'll have to do like a look back.
Look back and see.
Yikes.
It'll be a
R.I.P.
like my favorite franchise being Scream was like the first thing we ever did.
Yeah.
And like it's not even recorded with a camera.
No, we didn't. Let me tell you something. We don't care. But
Yo,
anyway,
we watched Haunt.
we watched Haunt today.
That's the movie.
A movie, what was it, 2019, right?
2019.
Yes. Okay, so I didn't know anything about this going in. You had seen it, right?
Yeah, I watched it when it came out on Shudder, I believe.
It's a Shudder original.
I think it's a Shudder original.
Listen,
At least that's where I watched it.
we don't
so, like,
deal in wrong facts on this channel.
I'm sorry. Well, when I watched it, it was on
Haunt.
Shudder, so I figured it was.
Shudder.
Does it say on there that it is in fact?
Original question
It might not
mark.
be.
Did you lie to me?
I might have lied to you. Well, if it's not available on Shudder right now, then it probably isn't an original then.
Huh.
Nonetheless, with a quick search, doesn't look like it is, but that's where I watched it, and that's kind of just what I assumed. My
I
bad.
can't believe you lie.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, dude.
Anyway,
Anyway, yeah, you've never watched it, so what were your thoughts going in on it? I know I kind of gave you a brief summary of like what the concept was, but
yeah, I really just didn't listen, so it helped a lot because I tend to ignore people.
yeah, I know your messages tell me that.
Gotcha. Anyway, so going into this movie, I was like, this is gonna be stupid.
Stupid.
I can just tell already.
Yeah. Okay.
So, going in, not much of a spooky vibe. I'm like, you know what? That's cool because it's got to ramp up, right? And then it starts doing things about 10 minutes into the movie where it's like, okay, it's trying to fake me out. It's going real hard into that. I'm like, I appreciate that. But then once I realized that the majority of the movie is taking place within a like a haunted house
Yeah.
type thing, like something that you're actually supposed to go through and like be scared by, one of the extreme ones where you have to sign a
Just sign a waiver
or
and
whatever.
stuff. Well, nothing's out of the ordinary if you think about it, because there are things like that exist. You have
Right.
to sign a waiver before going in, and
And on a base level, what I really like about this movie is that it's like, whenever you go to one of the, like a haunted trail in the woods or like one of the haunted, houses or whatever you want to say, every one of those is like, that's everyone's fear in the back of their mind,
That,
right?
like,
That
there's
something's
yeah,
actually
gonna
wrong.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then this does like a double play on that, because not only do you obviously it's a horror movie, something's gonna happen here, but like every time it tries to fake you out, it actually feels justified in doing so. Like in the earlier on when people were like messing around, like, oh my arm, and then all this and that.
Yeah, and then I love that transition because he's like, "Oh, my arm, my
And
arm,"
then he
and then
looks
he's
at
like,
her
"Haha,"
and
he's
it's
like, "I'm just kidding," and she's like, "No, really, my arm."
Yeah.
Like that was so cool.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's what I was gonna touch on too. Was what you were just saying though, and that concept is that like when people go to haunted houses, like sure you're there for like this jump scares and stuff, but like everyone always has that in the back of their mind. Like,
Yeah,
what if there's just a murderer just chilling, vibing here and
Like,
trying to like blend in?
I have been to plenty of haunted trails where there's a chainsaw in the woods,
Yeah, what if?
and it's in my head that
Yeah.
like, man, what if one of my friends just got ganked right now? Like that would be so cool.
Well, because like the only thing is that like they take off the chains on the chainsaw, right? So they can't actually cut you. But like, what if, you know? Like that's what's in the mind, the what if. And I think that this movie plays really well on that fear of what if they were actually, you know?
What if this
And
was a good podcast?
realistically, yeah, what if? No, real talk
Yeah.
though. So that was your thoughts going into the movie.
Yeah.
Not knowing anything about it, thinking it was going to be stupid, and overall, what were your general basis
Oh,
thought
I guess,
on
yeah.
now that you've watched it?
Overall, I think it was enjoyable.
Okay.
I think it was a little sloppy though.
Okay.
I'll say that.
We'll get into it.
We can get into that.
I think I've watched this once before, prior. Like I said, I watched it back on
Now
Shudder.
it's twice, bitch.
Twice. Ooh, like the K-pop band?
I don't know what that means.
Okay, sorry. Well, this is my second watching. I don't actually remember anything about this movie coming back in here because it's been so long since I watched it.
Right.
Like literally 2019 is when I watched it, so it's been a while. And the only thing I remember about this movie from the first watching is that I went in thinking it would be just okay or dumb, and I ended up liking it a lot the first watch.
Yeah.
And watching it the second time, now that I watched it previously, super recent, that gore went crazy.
It did.
It went kind of crazy.
That was.
I can't believe I didn't remember how gory it was. I remember the hammer with him like just going out of his freaking mouth with the
Oh.
back of the hammer. I do remember that because I cringed the first time I watched that.
There was a lot in this movie, actually. Like, and it was like, it's not the type of gore where it's like there's blood everywhere, but it's the type of gore that like when you see it, it's very poignant. Like it's there, and it's gonna make you fucking look away.
Well, think about it. You know, sometimes they try to like you watch a movie and they kind of like cut away from the kills or like the gore and
No.
stuff. Well, think about it.
It would cut away in the build up, and then it would go right to it.
Well, think about it. The guy who ends up getting to outside first when he goes to the crawl space, the one that ends up getting the treatment with the hammer.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. When it cuts away and it cuts back to him, he's already on the ground, like knocked out dead or whatever, or maybe just knocked out because you didn't see him get hit with the hammer from Mitch the first
Right,
time.
right.
You're just like, oh, cool, we don't get to see that. But then he just goes in with that hammer in his mouth. It's like, oh god.
That's terrible.
Yo, shout out to my boy Mitch though. He was a real G.
Yeah.
Real help.
Mitch forgot what team he was on.
But
So, to anyone who doesn't know the movie or doesn't know the idea of the podcast, spoilers, by the way, unless it's a brand new movie that that nobody's had a chance to see, we've seen it opening night, recorded that night. That's different.
that's like we just do a
And
straight,
we will specifically say non-spoiler review.
Yeah.
You know, but otherwise, any other time, it's there.
Yeah, we're just
It's
going full in.
It's Jover.
Full
you know?
hog wild. Say, shut up. Alrighty. So, beginning of this movie, build up. You know, the characters aren't anything crazy. Like, that's one thing I will say about this movie is that none of the characters really spoke that much to me.
Okay.
I like the bigger guy. He's hilarious.
Yeah, I thought he was really going to be like the frat bro dick, and I honestly I didn't even think he was going to be a main character.
Oh, you thought it
Like
was
I didn't think he was a part of the crew, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'm driving." All right.
He said, "Got to pay my tuition somehow."
I know that was fun, and like all of the humor
Yeah.
seemingly came through him. How many cousins do you have?
Yeah, it's funny because
We were just thinking that 46. Oh, great.
she dies, and you're like, well, it's fine. They got 46
there's
more
more.
cousins. Yeah, you're chilling.
Yeah.
No one's gonna miss her.
So, were there any character? None at all. Really.
I
clicked
liked
you
him.
then?
Like I said, I liked
You
him.
liked him.
I thought the main character Harper was okay. I mean, she sufficed for a final girl, but like she wasn't anything crazy or spicy.
Harper had what do I want to say? She had that main character energy because we always saw her perspective,
She got the backstory.
and she had the
Like I
backstory.
said, she got the backstory. So
She had that abusive boyfriend. That's how you know.
Dude, real talk. They hyped him up to come in and save the day.
No, there's a movie that actually reminded me of something. Spoiler for this movie that I'm going to think of the name of here in a second. I think it was Truth or Dare.
Like the one with the smiley faces, or
I
the one on Netflix.
buddy, brother, I don't know.
You watched the movie.
No, I was subjected to this movie at a sleepover in middle school, okay? Give me a goddamn break, okay? So what happened in this movie is this whole movie, he's like...
Hostile much.
Like, he gets one phone call, and he's like, oh, I'm coming. This whole movie, he's driving to this mansion where these people are being held and,
Okay.
forced to do stuff. right?
Uh-huh.
And then he gets there, and as soon as he walks in the door, he gets shot. And I don't actually remember what his relevance to the movie was. I think it was the vehicle, which was what I was thinking was going to happen here.
Which
But,
it wasn't.
yeah, what was his point in this movie?
Nothing. I guess just to see a douchebag guy get shot.
I mean, I
Well,
like
not
that
shot,
she was.
but well,
Yeah, he was shot with a projectile.
then a brick, then a sledgehammer.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
But characters, yeah. What about you? I think Harper was a fine final girl. I think the rest of the cast was kind of meh. The like new boyfriend was okay. I mean,
I feel like I got catfished a bit when he was wearing his hat, and then when he wasn't wearing his hat.
you thought he looked so different. Like what?
Yeah, like I. Also, another thing, he goes from getting rejected to rizzing up Harper hardcore.
Stop.
And I have to respect the hustle. Like he literally like a piece of rubber. He just bounced right back.
Hey, he was the hero, dude. He got the ring
He did. That was really nice. It was unfortunate that we didn't get any more than like speaking about him at the end.
Yeah,
he's gonna be okay.
Yeah, it was just he's in the other room, and then but she had things to take care of at the end there, so it made sense.
It'd have been cool if he was there with her. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
I mean, a shared trauma is a good foundation for any relationship.
Whatever you say.
You don't think?
I don't know.
I mean, if Jack and Rose would have survived the Titanic, I mean, she was still thinking about that motherfucker 84 years later. Speaking of Titanic, best movie, not the best movie, but best director of all time made that movie. James Cameron, love him. Anyway, back to it. So characters, we pretty much agree. What do we think about the bad guys, like the clowns?
I thought that they were cool for. Listen,
Mitch and the bunch.
I like the concept of like Mitch being like the only one that really talks for a while, and like,
or the twist that what about the guy at the end who wasn't actually lying? Like, hey, I didn't kill anybody.
Yeah. I mean, I like that.
I felt bad for him once I realized he was telling the truth.
Yeah, because he went to go get a gun and he's like, "Oh, it's not here."
Yeah, I didn't believe him.
I mean, you would think, "Oh, Mitch 2.0, here we go."
Yeah,
but at the same time, he was the only person who didn't have kind of a jacked up face.
Yes.
So I mean, you know, there's that.
Mm.
What do you think about the faces? Like them all looking kind of messed up because like the tattoo
underneath?
artist and stuff.
I know. I love that they have a mask and then they take that mask off and it's still grotesque.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was really cool. Mitch's specifically was really cool.
Looked interesting.
The tattoo spike guy really off-put me.
I would say his was the worst design.
Yeah.
Like I like Mitch's a lot, and then the main like guy who takes the phones, I like his clown face. The one that
would you say he's the main?
Probably.
I would argue that Mitch was the main.
Mitch was the main guy.
I would say.
Well,
I mean, Mitch and yeah. I mean, that's just what I'm thinking. I think
how does Mitch die again? I don't remember. I literally forget. Literally just watched it.
He just got hit with a baseball bat.
Was that Mitch, the one that got hit with the baseball bat?
Wasn't it?
I don't think so. I think it was the different one, the one that like had the gun.
You're right.
So what happened to Mitch? I don't remember.
Did nothing happen to Mitch?
He definitely got something happen to him. Brother, how are we forgetting this?
Oh my God! Professional podcast moments.
We watched the movie, promise.
I swear we just watched it.
Well, I'm remembering like the witch's death. I'm remembering his death because he was the one with the gun. That's why I'm thinking him.
Yeah, you're right. Well, he didn't even die. He just got hit with a bat. Even still, what happened to the guy in the field? Because that wasn't the guy they killed at the end of the movie.
Guy in the field.
The guy he hits with the bat before they go over the fence at the end.
I'm pretty sure that was the guy with the gun.
With the gun.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
Because he was the one that gets like his hand like.
Yeah, he gets his hand fucked up with the axe.
Yeah.
I understand that. And he gets hit with a bat in the head.
Maybe he bled out from his hand.
Don't even, bro.
Okay, that is one thing I will give a negative to this movie though, is that like, as much as I like the comedy of this movie and the gore is great, I do like I said, I like the villains a lot. I do like the way they look under the mask and how they are actually really creepy. And Mitch was I think Mitch was my favorite, but I just said that the other guy was the final one just because he was the last one standing. So I was kind of like, and he let all the kids in. So that's the reason I was like, okay, maybe he's the main guy. But nonetheless, the thing I wanted to say I kind of would give a negative to this movie, it was kind of all over the place, like with just the killers and stuff. Like it was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of janky sometimes, in my opinion.
I agree.
Like I said, like we're over here trying to remember like what happened to some of the ones, and it's, I don't know, maybe
I
do you think
remember.
it's
I remember what happened to Mitch now.
what?
You remember when she's got the one guy coming in with the chainsaw?
Yeah.
And he's trying to get her, and Mitch tackles him. That's when they get into a scuffle, and he gets knocked out.
Gets knocked
He
out.
he beats him in the scuffle,
Yeah.
or well, she helps him or whatever because she shoots the shotgun, all and the chainsaw. You know what I mean?
Yeah, chainsaw
And then
guy
that
dies.
whole thing happens, and then that's when Mitch gets knocked out. And this even says, cause of death: knocked unconscious with hammer, possibly burned to death.
Oh, because of the fire setting
Yes.
on. Okay, yeah.
So we don't even know for
If he's
sure.
dead. Yo, Haunt 2 sequel?
Haunt 2, Mitch, where you at, brother? I'm there with you. You know what I mean?
No, like I said, that was like honestly the only negative I could really give this movie. Like for a big negative is that like I said, we're over here trying to remember certain deaths and stuff, and it might have to do with the fact that they're all wearing costumes and masks maybe, and they kind of blend in together sometimes. I don't really know, because like when I see Mitch, I'm like, all right, I know it's Mitch, and then the guy with the spikes, I honestly know him, but like, the guy with the gun was kind of random.
He was kind of out of nowhere, was my thing. With the chainsaw guy, at least we were like, okay, we've seen him before.
We've seen him get pushed.
Yeah, we've seen
Same
him
with the guy with the gun. He was out of nowhere too, wasn't he? The guy that like had the gun.
Well, that's the one I was talking about. I feel like he was like just out of nowhere. Like, he was like,
Yeah.
hey, we need another guy here. Like, but at least
The witch was too kind of implemented early on and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
the
like,
witch and the chainsaw guy were fine. I thought that was cool. But then the gun guy was just like, that's my gun, bitch. And
Yeah.
So yeah, R.I.P. Mitch.
No, but like honestly, I take that back. My biggest negative for this movie, and I know it's yours too, is the fact that the survivors are so stupid. Like they never take the gun.
Oh
They never
my
like.
God.
But again, that is something that like a lot of horror movies fall under. But like
This is the type of movie that gets made fun of by Scream.
yeah, because them just being like, they would
Yeah.
drop the gun, they'd knock them out, and their weapon would be right there, and they're like, eh.
Yeah. or quite frankly, why did they split up?
We
At
gotta
the-
take the.
I understand it was the beginning. They didn't know
They
yet.
said they didn't
but
know.
why the fuck would you split up? I wouldn't split up in that situation. I'd be like, oh, me and my friends are gonna get separated. Oh no. Oh. And also, why didn't Harper want to go with her new boyfriend? Huh? Promised him a good time. Said, nope, I'm going over here.
It's just so funny because the room with the shotgun where it's like on the loop for the Jack in the Box and it shoots.
That was really cool.
Yeah, dope. But it was so funny because when that happened, I'm like, imagine her just standing up, walking toward the shotgun. It goes like, she gets up, starts walking.
Yeah.
And the only reason she didn't die is because it was out of ammo.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what her thought process was there.
What?
Good for them, I guess. But with that being said,
What would be your biggest negative? I would say probably the dumb decisions, and then, like I said, the mix of just like, I don't know, like it was a good pace. Like I like the pacing.
no, I thought the pacing was fine. I thought this movie felt brisk, even though it necessarily wasn't. It was pretty decent length movie. It was like an hour and a half.
Hour and a half, yeah.
Something like that. But I think my issue came in with, as I said, like things just didn't make sense. Of course, there was stuff like, what's the boyfriend involved? What's happening to these killers that only the one guy shows up at the house at the end? There's the one scene where the ghost or Mitch is chasing the new boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing we know, he's saving Harper. How are we supposed to know he's gotten the slip? Like, it was in a situation where it's not like he just ran from him. You know what I mean? Like, he's not right behind him. We don't know that. He gives off the implication that he's taking care of it. And, of course, he hasn't. But there's just certain scenes where it felt like there was more, or should have been more, I should say. Or, at the very least, it was jumping a little bit of logic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think my thing, like what I was trying to say earlier about my first negative thing, about like it being all over the place and stuff, I think it has more to do with just this, like, it kind of like throws you around a little bit when it switches back from character to characters. And I feel like it's kind of like a roller coaster. Like you're Harper, and then you're like, oh, new boyfriend. Oh, guy out front. It's kind of, and I get they're split, but I feel like there was a certain time in the movie where like it was going back and forth between like four people.
I do
And
agree there.
I think that's forget what I said about like not knowing like the killers, because honestly now that we made a rundown of the list, they all actually were kind of well put in there, and they were all kind of built up to their like full potential. Besides probably the guy with the gun, he was just kind of there. I think the thing I was thinking about honestly is that though, just the staggering of
jumping
between characters, but at the same time,
you never, like when you're looking at it like a door slowly open, you're like, okay, which one am I supposed to be scared of right now?
yeah, it's like, who am I looking
whose
at?
perspective am I looking from?
Yeah.
I understand.
Like that was a little jarring, but also I want to say that with this technique though, I did like the fact that whole time we were wondering what the one girl was doing.
Yes.
Because she was in the crawl space part with the new boyfriend, and then he fell out.
Yeah.
And then we're like, well, where'd she go after that?
I know. I was literally asking. I feel like for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. And then they end up like dressing her up as one of the killers.
That was one of the greatest.
I liked it.
Scenes because they were playing the music like it was all terrible.
Well, yeah, they built up like even before that, like that
Like,
this
you
guy's
ready?
just chilling there, and they're like, like he was gonna be the big bad boss guy, and then he comes in and then
hits him and stabs immediately. Immediately.
So good, dude.
Brutal. That's all I can say is brutal. But they made quick work of this place. One thing I will say, we like the gore.
Yeah,
I
gore's
think you
great.
like the gore.
Gore's great.
Gore was good. It looked good.
Yeah, it looked amazing. Not like Babysitter 2.
Oh my god, yeah. It's interesting. We watch all of these different movies, and like, there's things that we like and dislike from each of them. But like, if you really think about it, if you took the gore from this movie or like the storytelling of, one of like Ready or Not or something, you know, and put all the perfect aspects.
The
of
perfect
these
movie would just like you put all the nitpicks of all the stuff we like and put it together.
I know
Perfect
it's
movie.
an insane thought.
Well, I mean, no movie's perfect. There's always bound to be misses. You can't do everything right.
I know, or even like I could pick out in my favorite movie, like if somebody says a line wrong, like like I couldn't care less. You could care less, or I could care less.
Yeah.
You couldn't. Something like that. Like that stuff bothers me all the time, and that's stuff you pick out more in movies you like. I feel like.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The one thing though, like with this film, is that like I think the gore and the atmosphere of the haunted house and like all that stuff really carries this movie, because the plot wasn't anything crazy when you think about it. Like it was more so like, hey, it's Halloween, let's go.
It is, that the setup was pretty simple.
Yeah.
We get a little bit of dashings of Harper's backstory
backstory.
with the abusive dad in the background, with the parallel to the abusive boyfriend, I suppose. Why do you put yourself in that situation? And not her fault, whatever. I don't mean it to be insensitive. I'm just covering my bases.
Cancel first episode.
Cancel
here.
first episode. But with that being said, I did love the scene where it's jumping back and forth. She's hiding under the bed.
Yeah,
and like that was
from
set.
the dad
Yes,
to
I
the-
love that.
That
was
was
really
a
cool.
good scene. Yeah.
And like I love that it never showed him like getting up and checking under the bed until he was like the actual killer, until he was right by the bed and he's like, get up.
Yeah. I was gonna say we never even seen like the dad. I don't think at all. Like the face of the
No,
dad.
no.
I think they kept that pretty secret there.
No, you didn't need to.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it kind of blended in with the boyfriend being that way too, and then the dad, and then just these killers, and it kind of just like took a toll on her.
Yeah.
And I like that concept a lot, but at the end of the day, the story plot was pretty simplistic.
Yes.
Wasn't anything crazy. You're not gonna watch this movie and be like, oh my god,
You're not gonna watch it.
the second coming of movies.
You're not gonna watch it again and think, Jesus, I didn't notice that the first time. That completely changes my entire thought process.
That's again. I always bring it up, but like Scream, man, you watch it for the first time, you find out the killers, whatever. Second time you watch it,
Yes.
you can like notice some little nitbits of like, hey, this is the killer, or little nods they think
you have
they
to do multiple runs.
Yeah, this movie you're not gonna find anything like that. It's more so, listen, you can watch it again. This is my second time watching it.
Yeah.
Great experience, but you're not gonna find any secrets there.
This is definitely like a like where an action flick is a popcorn flick, like just a solid action flick. This is just a solid horror flick.
Yeah.
It was a solid popcorner flick.
You got your stupid decisions, and then you got your simplistic plot, but it's really hard carried with the atmosphere of the haunted house vibe. But
Yes.
on top of the gore is really, really well done. If you're not a fan of gore, this is not a movie I'd recommend because it goes pretty hard.
Yeah.
To be honest, and it looks pretty realistic. You know, you got like the hands and like the sticky glue or whatever, and she's
Oh
like
my God.
pulling up and it like rips her skin out.
Yeah.
Her walking back into the spikes.
She took a lot of abuse, actually, if you think about it.
She got shot in the shoulder with a shotgun. Yeah, she got worked quite a bit.
That shot, truth be told, her shoulder should have been gone.
I mean, yeah.
Like, yeah, it's pretty rough.
Like,
But
she took a lot. I mean, you have things from like, I really wish we would have got some use of the chainsaw though.
I know.
I
I saw it again. I thought with the way that they were like messing with the chainsaw, I thought he was gonna cut off, or she was gonna use it to cut off the
him or
shotgun.
something. Well, they were starting to.
No, I don't mean cut off like the barrel. I mean like I thought once he was
like
taken
to
care
unattach it.
to unattach it and then just take the shotgun.
She didn't even take the chainsaw, dude. She
I know.
literally just ran away.
It's too heavy. I get it though, actually.
Sawed off shotgun, dude. You made the reference. Bruce Campbell was there in spirit.
Groovy.
But there's
That's another series we've done, by the way. Wait for it on this channel because it'll be here at some point.
yeah, for the 2010-ish reboot, whatever it was, remake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're watching that one. That's the only one we haven't watched out of all of the franchise.
Yeah, we'll be doing that soon, actually.
Yeah, because
that is-
October's.
That's
here.
coming up. That's one I want to do. We'll also be doing Aliens in November.
You're
at
making
some
me
point.
watch Halloween Ends again.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a new Halloween movie trilogy
Yeah, we're just gonna do the trilogy
in
though.
one.
It's gonna start off talking really well, really awesome, positive things, to just straight up trash.
Doesn't matter what day it'll be on.
Trash.
That's coming out on the we'll say the 30th. You can watch it on the 31st. You know what I'm saying?
There we go. Gore though, great. Like I said, for this movie.
Yes,
Like, it's
Gore.
just-
Gore was one of the highlights. I thought some of the cinematography was pretty good. I thought some of the camera work was a little shaky, quite literally, because anytime the camera shook, I hated it. It was just bad. And I know that's partially a stylistic choice on my part, but it's also something that it just didn't feel good to watch. It felt nauseating.
Well, it's
But
fun.
then you also get the cool shots of like the perspective as it zooms out, and then you're watching from the perspective of the killer. It zooms out, you see the killer, and then you turn with the perspective of the killer again. That was a really, really cool shot. If you remember that,
Yeah.
I love that. That stuck with me even now, like an hour and a half later.
An hour and a half later.
Yeah, so stuff like that's really cool. I think this movie's completely serviceable in every aspect except really an overarching story and quite frankly logic. I think
Yeah.
that's, if there's anything that drags it down, it's that.
Like I said, logic and the stupid choices are the biggest thing for me. We just watched a movie last week, and that movie did not have an ending at all.
Cobweb, yes.
And
New movie, and that one hasn't
Good.
been posted, so that one will probably be pretty
on
directly.
yeah, and that movie like
I'll post it after this because this is our introduction.
It's just funny because we watched that and like that movie was solid all the way through till the end where it just didn't have an ending. This movie I felt like had a pretty good ending. You know, she gets to be the final girl. She gets to do what she wants to do. She gets to take him out, not be afraid anymore.
Yeah.
And then like it's the main guy who lived because he burned the place down. So like he's coming in, he knows the addresses, which I love the tie-in there that like our Harper character only remembers that because when she's in the hospital, it's like, yo, can you sign these forms? And then she's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, they know the addresses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, she sets the traps for him. Puts the sticky glue, he walks in. He ends up falling on like the spiky trap too, and then it
Yeah.
plays like the music like for the
And then she just comes up with her shotgun. So
like so good. Like that was a good ending.
that was a
honestly.
great ending.
Good ending. Like I said,
Yeah.
the only difference is what you said. I would have loved for the new boyfriend to be there too
Yeah.
and have him be involved in some way. But other than that, perfect ending for the
Yeah.
movie that they set up here.
Yeah.
And I think the next biggest thing I liked about this movie, which we talked about a little bit, you did, was the fake outs. Like,
Yes, this movie, I think,
even towards the middle of it, when like stuff was starting to get sketchy, like you've seen one person get picked off and the
No.
rest of them didn't know about it yet.
yeah.
It was still doing like, you see like the spiders come in on the one girl in the coffin and you're like, and you saw like real spiders earlier.
Yeah.
So you think that like it's real spiders, but then he's like, they're just fake, dude. You remember that? Because like
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, it's just fake spiders and stuff. You remember that?
Yeah, I do. I guess I was under the assumption that he was just like brushing off that she was saying that they were real because he found some fake stuff already in the room.
I took it as if like it was actually fake, but it was just them messing with him because like they saw real ones earlier.
Right.
So,
well, they didn't. The others did.
Yeah, the others did. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. That's actually even cooler because the other side saw that, and then the other side gets hit with fake stuff.
I think they should have leveraged that a little better.
I think
the separated groups.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that should have been a mechanic of it in a way.
Like the whole movie.
Other than like maybe they were able to talk through a wall or something and communicate at one point, and then like, you know, when like the horror gets ramped up and maybe they're ready to start fighting back, the groups intersect, somebody gets killed. You know.
Well, what did you think of like the first picking there of the main cast here? The one girl that ended up getting killed by the witch, fucking cat with the prod or whatever.
Martha or whatever her name was.
Yeah. Did you think that she was gonna get full jabbed in the head, or do you think she was just gonna get the like fire stick like the other girl did?
I'll be honest with you. Of all the kills, I did not see that one.
I know you.
I
like,
was busy. I was like, what?
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
I believe you. You know.
Yeah.
So.
She like went to like do it, and then she just goes whoosh, like right through her head.
Was she conscious?
No, she was still knocked out. So she wasn't like up for that. But
so that's good because that helps you later on when Mitch is lying. You're frog in my throat. I'm so sorry. I drank all my water.
Lied about what? Like, oh, no one
he's
get
like,
hurt.
oh yeah, she's probably just outside waiting for you guys.
Yeah.
It sows that little seed of doubt, but this whole time you're like, nah, dude, he's just playing him.
Well, it's so weird because like Mitch was like such a perfect character for that because like the way he played it was like it was kind of, even though you saw a person die already, you're like, okay, I'm kind of uncertain about this guy because like he's kind of creepy, but like at the other time he gives him like the keys, he starts leading them out, like you're like okay, but then obviously when they start asking him to take his mask off, then you're like, all right, this is sus.
Yeah.
But before that, you're like, I don't know, maybe
Definitely a little sus, my brother.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like the vibe of that, but then there actually being later a real dude who was actually just like, yo, he's like, I didn't know. I'm just here to
I know,
work.
and it makes you like, they're like sketched on him the whole time, then he dies.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you just talk about sus. Let me tell you about something sus that happened while we're watching this damn movie.
Yeah.
Yo, okay, so we're sitting there in my living room.
I got called a girl.
We hear
That's so funny.
knock on my door. Throw that bottle.
It was like after someone just died too, so we're all like,
So we're like, huh? had the main wooden door opened already, so it's just the glass door. And I picked my head up over the couch, and I look over, and there's a little girl looking into my house. So I'm like, great, love that for me.
Yeah.
So at first I'm thinking like, what's she doing? Is she selling cookies or something?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'm thinking like
cookies.
It's like 7:00 at night. She ain't selling no cookies, and why is she alone? And why does she have a little piece of metal? Great, So I walk around. Mind you, I've got my fiance, my toddler, and then my friend here. We're all watching a movie. I walk around to the front. I open the door. I've got the door like cracked open at this point, and I have not completely stepped outside. I said, "What's going on?" And she goes, do you have any kids? Of course, I've got toys and stuff all strewn around the front yard, baby Crocs and stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. I said, I just have a little girl. And she goes, oh, okay. Can I play with her? I said, no, she's about to go to bed, And she goes, oh, okay. Can I see her? I was like, well, no, she's getting her bottle right now.
Yeah.
And she goes, is she with the girl with the glasses?
Yikes.
Immediately, my fiance is not wearing glasses. My daughter is not wearing glasses.
Woo! It's me!
There's only one person wearing glasses. And at the time, I'm still not like, I'm like, all right, this bitch is tripping. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, how can she even see in my house? There's a step up into my house. She's standing lower on the steps. She can't see over my couch. What's going on?
I was laying down on the couch anyway.
I know.
So I'm like,
she was peering in though. I don't know if you saw her when I was walking around. She was peering in.
huh?
Yeah, she was ready to go. So
She was ready to go.
well, and that's the thing is like this whole time I'm talking about my daughter. She's like, I was like, well, I saw my daughter. She's walking.
Yeah, she was
around.
running. She was coming for that
She
door.
was ready to go and see what the hell was going on. So naturally, I can't just be like, go on, get out of here, go home, start throwing rocks at her and everything. So I can't do that,
Yeah.
of course. So my daughter's there before I have a chance to do anything else. My fiance apparently couldn't maintain a 1.5-year-old. So
Yikes.
I pick her up. I take her outside. The little girl's like, hi, and Lydia's just like, she don't care, whatever. And I said, I asked the little girl what her name was, and I've already forgotten. I literally have.
Like 2 hours ago?
It was like Madeline or something like that. It was something like that.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, okay. I said, where do you live? She goes, all the way down there.
Yeah, I heard of that. She's like,
And she points down the street, and I'm like, there's literally
so many houses.
half a mile of houses
Yeah.
down this road. And I'm like, that's great. I have never seen you before. You are not one of the regular kids that is walking by my house.
Why was she holding
Like-
a pipe, bro?
And then she's holding this little, like, sheet of, like, metal, like, I don't want, like you said, not quite a pipe, but, like, a metal, like, thing.
Like a thing that like extracts
Like a
or whatever.
poker.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it was, like, it wasn't anything. It was just a flat piece of metal, like a stick, basically.
Questionable.
Yeah, I don't know what she had that for. And
She's gonna rob you, mug you, dude.
I know, I was scared for a second, but when I went to get my daughter out of the house, she's like peeking her head in my house, like she's trying to come in. I'm like, it's like when you got a dog you gotta stop him from getting. I'm like, no, get back now, and I don't want to have to kick you out of my house. I'd just rather stop you from coming in, and
she
so
goes.
that's new.
She goes. All right. She's like, I'm gonna go to the next house.
Yeah. She literally goes, okay. I'm gonna go ask them now. And she points to my neighbor, who I'm sure would have had a lovely conversation, but I don't think anybody answered the door there because we were watching out the window to see if they would. And
Such a crazy experience.
that was a very crazy experience. I don't really know what to do with that information. Like, do I Home Alone?
Yeah. Do you
this shit?
prepare for like the parents to come in?
No. Do I leave my doors unlocked, and then next time she comes over, I have like a bear trap by the front door or something?
I mean,
I'm sure a
pretty
bear
she'd
trap
see
can
it.
stop it. This kid had to be like 5. I'm not very good with kid ages.
Yeah. It's kind
But she's like 4 to 6.
Yeah, she's.
I don't think she was 4. I think she was either 5 or 6.
Yeah, but that's even worse when you think about it, because like, why the heck is she just walking out on the street by herself, middle of the night? I mean, it wasn't middle of the night, but it was late evening, so 7 o'clock.
Yeah, it was like 7 o'clock, and I've never met her. Her parents don't know who I am.
Yeah,
like
like,
I could have been like full blown like. I could have been a creep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could have been the guy from Babysitter 2 again.
Hell yeah, brother.
Die rapist. That movie was so
I
funny
know,
though.
that was good.
Gore was bad, funny movie.
Yeah,
But yeah, that guy was whack.
but I am very perplexed.
I mean,
This is Joe Biden's America.
hopefully. Oh God.
It's Jover. I'm sorry.
I mean, hopefully she got a home okay.
We watched her walk back down the sidewalk
I like.
in the direction of supposed home.
My thing is, like, I've seen so many horror movies where kids are used as bait, dude. These days, I'm like, I'm good. Like, you just walk out there and then
So
you
you're
just
saying the bear trap isn't a bad idea?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I was getting at. Like, what if there was bait to scope your house, see who people's in here, parents come rolling in.
Well, I already lied to the kid because, when she said, maybe, is she with the girl? And I assumed she meant my fiance. And obviously she meant you. But I said, no, she's in the other room with her mom. And so, like, if they are case in the place, they definitely expect, on average,
More people.
more people. So it's like, you roll up at my house, they're expecting a gang, all right? Like, we got one in every closet. We're just going to walk out.
Marv's got this.
Oh my god. Fucking dumbass. I have a dog named Marvel. I tell you what, I don't know
He's
what's
got
let me
this.
down more, the cinematic universe or my dog. Jesus Christ.
Just took off with your USB.
No, okay. So, a little bit of layout for you here. Backstory. Story time. I have a desktop computer. That's what we're recording on right now. And we go to move it to the place of recording. Not in my normal game playing spot. Well, this motherfucker has an entire house.
Yeah.
I have a 1,600 square foot house. 16, maybe that's wrong. Something like that, I think. 17.
I'd believe it.
I don't know. I think that's accurate. If that's completely wrong and that's like the size of a shack, then
Yeah, you just live in like a little 1x1 shack.
maybe that's wrong.
This right here, this is all he has for space. This is his room.
This is my house.
Yeah, this is the
I
house. Right
sleep back there. This is actually my bed.
here. No, I'm allergic for your stupidity. I'm
Jesus
sorry.
Christ. But anyway, dog's got all this house to walk around in. Motherfucker walks right into my computer, which the only thing I left plugged into it, because I didn't think it would be matter, was a little USB flash drive out the back.
Oh.
No, motherfucker he didn't even bite it, he just ran into it. Fucker just walked by and bent the damn thing in the socket.
I thought he bit it. I thought he just
he's not. I'd put the hammer down on him if he bit it, but no, he just walked by it. I can't stand that dog. Please help me.
Would he survive the haunt?
No.
You don't think so? Would we survive the haunt?
Would we survive?
Yeah. Would we? I know you said we wouldn't split up, so that part would be... But, like, no one really died from the split up but the one person who got, like, knocked out or whatever or captured. But, like, for us...
Real talk, though, I like how the safe and not safe were complete lies.
I like it.
Because the ones who went to the safe, one of them got picked out to be killed.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
So, do you think we'd survive?
No, I don't think so.
I probably wouldn't have.
Here's why.
I would have been dead.
I think I would.
10 minutes.
I think I would have been the first kill. Because,
Really?
Well, they would have assessed me already as the strongest. So they would have killed me.
yeah. I got you.
And then the horror of my death would send you into a eclectic shock, maybe? Some kind of shock.
Dude, I'd be throwing hands like... Oops.
No.
Throwing hands! Look at those fucking gains!
You'd have been shadow boxing the fence, and then they come up behind you, just
bonk.
cut your head off. Would you have survived? Let me know down below. Do we want to do final verdicts?
Let's do
I feel like
final.
we've...
I mean, like I said, the movie's pretty simplistic, so it's kind of hard to talk about it for a whole lot of time here. Like I said,
42 minutes so far.
I mean, a lot of side things there at the end, but at the end of the day, I think the movie. I'll do final verdict first, since I made you do it last time.
Like a pussy.
Loser.
All right.
So, like I said, this movie is pretty simplistic in the plot. There's not a whole lot to say there, other than Harper gets a little backstory, just to put a little spice on the final girl kind of vibe that she has. And I mean, towards the end, I do like how she's every final girl ever, where she's not scared anymore and she's like, let's go. I dig that. I like the ending a lot. The ending wrapped up basically haunt. You're not getting a second one. I don't think it needs a second one because it'd be the same premise. What can you do with the sequel? Unless, I mean, I would love to see Mitch again.
Yeah.
But I think that is kind of unfortunate that we don't get to see every killer get picked off because some of them just get knocked out. And
yeah, which I guess leaves it open for a sequel.
But like,
no.
I don't know. I think that's kind of a weird way to do it. I mean, I know, again, like you check the wiki there. Wiki.
Possibly burned
to death because he did set the place on fire.
But again, the other guy got knocked out with a bat. He was
outside.
He was fine. I'm sorry, he wasn't going to bleed out from his arm.
You never know, dude.
No.
But, yeah, there's a lot of, like, unanswered, like, not logical things there that kind of suck for the movie and take a little bit out of the atmosphere and vibe there. But the actual, like, aesthetic of the house was amazing. I love haunted houses. I go to them all the time. I love Halloween, my favorite holiday. Christmas close second. So, like, all the, like, and it was cool to see, like, them go through different things, like crawl spaces, them go through, like, the coffins. Like, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to do?
No.
Yeah.
I was just going to say shout out to Christmas.
Shout out to Christmas, yeah. Santa Claus, I still respect.
We love you, God.
Oh, wait. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I like all the like stuff they went through, like using the fake spiders. You see like the little skeleton jump out and like scare the one guy. You think that was a real skeleton?
It looked fake.
I mean, maybe. I loved how the oil ends up tying in at the end because like they're like oil. Like, what the
I
heck?
definitely thought they were going for blood. By
Yeah,
the
that's
way.
what I thought too. Like the first.
I was like, I just expected them to think like, oh, it couldn't be blood, so it must be oil.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
yeah. But then it comes back and sets the place on fire. So
Yeah.
that's cool. The buildup of the abusive boyfriend was funny to see him just come in and immediately get obliterated.
Yeah.
He really didn't have anything to do with anything other than just
Nothing.
be like, hey,
Not
this
one
guy is a d-bag and he abuses women, so let's kill him. Which I'm cool with.
Let's fuck.
But you know, he got a cool death too.
Yeah.
Screw, dude. Screw him.
Well, I think the hammer to the head, the sledgehammer to the head, is what got him.
I mean, I'm sure that probably would have took him out eventually anyway with bleeding out. You're not supposed to take stuff out when things get impaled in you.
No, but I think he could have pressured that one. It
think
wasn't
so?
like a full throat thing. I think
mean, yeah.
it was just a small. I think he could. People have been through worse. I think he could have survived from that alone. Now, when they crushed his hand with a cinder block and then hit him in the head with a sledgehammer, it's Joker. Yeah.
Nonetheless, movie, gore, fantastic. Second watch, I didn't remember a lot from my first viewing other than, like I said, the ending, really. And then the, like, one kill, which was with the hammer in the mouth. Watching that again still made me be like, ugh. So, the gore was great. Even for me who watches horror movies all the time, even me, I was like, dang. I'm like, they got it going in.
Yeah.
Especially for a movie that, like, I mean, I'm sure this movie wasn't hugely known. I don't even know if it came out in theaters. So for a movie like that,
It was at one point a Shudder exclusive.
okay, so then it was. That's where I watched it. So
Right.
that was phenomenal, phenomenal surprise. And honestly, like I said, even though the negatives being like the story being a little simplistic, and the character decisions were stupid with not picking up weapons that the enemies would drop and everything. Other than that, though, like solid flick, and I'm probably gonna give it a solid 7.5. I was kind of bouncing in between 7.5 and 8 because it's a fun experience. And I'm just thinking to some of my past reviews here, and, you know, one I rated an 8 was like Happy Death Day. I think I prefer Happy Death Day over this movie. But this movie on its own is such a solid movie.
You went 8 for Happy Death Day?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
8 or 8.5, one or two. But
Yeah.
this movie, I think 7.5. If you told me 8 was your like preferred score, totally cool with it. But I think I'll slap it in between 7 and 8, 7.5. I think it's a great watch, awesome movie. I'd watch it again for the gore alone. It goes in.
See, I think we're getting to the point now where there's movies that stand out,
Yeah.
and there's movies that don't.
Well, it's weird.
And
I'm sorry.
I feel like this is one that, like, sometimes there's movies that I'm really hyped up after watching it, and like I really like this movie. Like,
Yeah,
there's
you're
a
not-
lot,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm not jazzed.
Yeah, you're not like, man, that was a solid flick.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with a 6.5.
That's honestly fair, dude.
You know, I think that's. I did briefly think about 7, but I also thought about 6. So I was like, oof.
No,
there we go.
6.5 sounds good. I mean, realistically, if this is your first time watching us, we usually have like a 1 score difference, and I'm usually the higher one.
Yeah.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah, I didn't mind this movie, and my scale varies, but like to keep in perspective, I view a movie that I thought was totally completely watchable. I didn't want to like stop watching at any point. At the bare minimum is a 4.
Yeah.
You can make your way up to basically a 10, but very rare, if
Try-
any.
So this is like our first for the new channel. I'm just kind of like doing callbacks here for anyone who might not have watched.
We need to bring back the Final Girl tier list.
We do, and we
will.
will.
Well, we will.
But number 4, you rated a movie recently a 4, didn't you? Was it Craven Counters 2? Is that the movie you rated like
I
a
think
4
so.
or 4.5?
I think so. I think it was a 4.5.
Cobweb was higher for you.
Cobweb was also a 6.5, I believe.
So, yeah, which that was.
Or
I actually don't remember Cobweb, but I do know that Craven
maybe I
Counters 2.
went 7 and you went 6.5 for Cobweb.
You were higher on Cobweb.
I was a
Raven
little bit.
Counters, the first one's so good, but the second one you rated pretty low.
Yeah,
so,
I did not like that movie.
Yeah.
So we'll have to do when we get to like 50 episodes or something. We'll have to like
Go
tier
through.
list.
Here's the thing. I want to do
Movie
it like
tier list.
I want to do like every like 50 or every 50 or 100 podcasts. I want to go through and like see if we want to make changes to any of them. Because like now that we're like, well, think about it. Now that we're going into these movies and we like think about like what we're rating. Like, you know, I rate this a 7.5 and I love this movie for specific reasons, but then I think back to other movies we've rated and I'm like,
So on your scale that you've developed over time.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, those movies might alter either higher or lower now that I've watched other movies that I think are better.
Thankfully, what we do is usually within the last 10 minutes of every episode, we give our scores.
Yeah.
So
We could just, like, go
It
through
would be
it.
very
It'd be easy.
And also for a while there, when I was putting forth effort, I would put the score
score at the
numbers.
top, yeah.
So it'd be really easy to just find them. So
I don't know. I think it'd be an interesting thing to do, like, for 100 like 100 of these, and then go back and see if there's
Right.
anything that would be like
you know,
drastically changed.
find the curve.
Yeah.
Grade on a curve.
And we could see, like, hey, what was our lowest rated movie? What was our highest rated
Well,
movie?
you're right now our lowest overall on an average, like Twitch scores combined divided by 2.
Yeah.
Our lowest score is Nope.
Yes.
Jordan Peele's Nope. We did
Yikes.
not. Neither of us truly enjoyed that film.
Boring movie.
I thought that movie, at the bare minimum, was intriguing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was like a blue ball effect, though, where I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And stuff did happen, but it wasn't anything what I wanted.
Things took too long to happen, and that movie was slow paced. I didn't like it. You want to talk about intriguing and still being good? Cobweb. The only bad part was the ending.
Honestly, the ending took that out of an 8 for me.
Yeah, exactly. The ending hurt it so hard
Yeah.
for me. But that's what's so funny and refreshing about this movie is that, like, though this movie wasn't super intriguing like Cobweb was, which was our previous movie, this one actually had a good, solid ending.
Yeah.
So, like, it does wonders for it.
Yeah.
You got to be strong on the endings, man.
Yeah. So we're not going to do the final girl tier list today, but
No.
we will. I will do my research at some point, and when we get a whiteboard,
Man.
we'll have a tier list.
If you're previous watchers, we
Users.
promised this like 10, 20 podcasts ago, but we're getting there.
We're getting close to 30, dude.
Dude, we're
Not in real life, but in the podcast.
don't ever say a real life 30. I'll cry.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
everyone.